dirty washing, mother dear.
We shall never surrender.
Hang up the washing on the Siegfried line, 'cause the washing day is here. Whether the weather may be wet or fine, we'll just love along.
Das Oberkommando der Wehrmacht gibt bekannt. Ein im Atlantik operierender deutscher Flottenverband unter Führung des Flottenchefs Admiral Lütjen im Seegebiet um Island auf schwere englische Seestreitkräfte. Das Schlachtschiff Bismarck hat hierbei einen englischen Schlachtkreuzer, wahrscheinlich Hood, vernichtet.
The sinking of the Bismarck was due to the cooperation of the RAF with the Navy. And Rodney, which did some pretty work with her 16-inch guns.
This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning. But the Japanese High Command had declared that a state of war existed with Great Britain and the United States.
The German Navy, so proudly built up by that smug strategical genius, the Führer, is slowly but surely being wiped out. Now the Scharnhorst, the 26,000-ton battleship, has gone to the bottom. A not unusual result of action against the Royal Navy.
Led by a powerful British escort, the main body of the surrendered Italian fleet is transferred from Malta to Alexandria.
Signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied Expeditionary Force.
Back across the China Sea for the last large-scale surrender at Hong Kong, where today warships of the Royal Navy ride at anchor in the harbor.
Well, hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gaff Major, and this is me going to be covering the June patch notes in a recording or reporting from very sunny United Kingdom, where it's actually been a little bit too warm, is the best way to put it. Hopefully everything comes through alright. I didn't get around to testing watching the trailer, but fingers crossed I can get the audios about correct as we go through. Anyway, good to see you, Stumpy West, and good to see you, Admiral Kriv. And what we'll do, I'll get the trailer ready to go through. I'll probably have to adjust the volumes as we go, and I will obviously take the logos away. Fingers crossed. I'll take the webcam away as well for now. Fingers crossed this comes through okay. I'll try and keep an eye on the desktop audios as well as it goes.
Captains, red, white and blue celebrations await. Let's take a dive with the new content focused on Independence Day. There's a solid amount of star-spangled content within this update. First, US Navy Dreadnought with powerful guns. Tier 3 battleship South Carolina for completing a free mission. Special Bureau project rewarding permanent camouflages for American...
I'm just going to have a little sneak peek back there and just see if there was anything sneaky. Montana... No, that's all existing projects. I was just checking.
Rewarding permanent camouflages for American destroyers and unique skins for tech tree-topping cruisers. Windrows' bonuses for USN ship.
Let's take that away. got one blurred out ship. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a tier 7. It's always worth looking at this kind of stuff just in case they accidentally let something slip.
And more. Full ahead to check it out. The Lucky 6 campaign rolls in with 2 more American ships to choose from. Tier 7 Premium Fletcher-class Destroyer Black with rapid reloading guns and radar consumable.
One thing to mention, I have seen it posted, is the radar on Black is not 20 seconds duration. I think it's 15 seconds. So obviously there has been some changes to the USS Black since the recording of this trailer.
Radar consumable and Tier 5 Premium fast-moving carrier Independence with capable bombers aboard. Get the Admiralty backing to obtain one or both of those. Tier 7 Ostfriesland arrives to mark the new Pan-European destroyer line, becoming available in the tech tree. Try them out for powerful torpedoes.
I just want to see that tech tree clip.
Out for powerful torpedoes, compelling gunnery layouts.
Yeah. So this is potentially a new layout they're showing with the kind of arrows around it. And it's worth noting, obviously, there's no premium tab anymore. That's later on the patch notes.
Tech tree. Try them out for powerful torpedoes, compelling gunnery layouts, and repair party consumable at the higher tiers. Recently announced balance changes are here. Prepare for buffs for Italian battleships and Japanese ships. Besides, Italian premium cruisers are getting semi-AP shells for their main battery guns as part of a trial. Prepare the fireworks and turn the summer tide.
There we go. So that's just going through the trailer. I think it's always worthwhile because sometimes they do like to sneak something in there. And like either it's a little tease or it could be something they let slip. So I think it's always worth scrutinising. And also it's worth spotting the differences. And sometimes the trailer does contain additional information which isn't contained within the patch notes. Anyway, we can now jump to the patch notes. I can now unplug my headset. I can mute the desktop. And fingers crossed, we can have some jazz. So, let's bring me back. There we go. So, hello Randy Jane, good to see you. And good afternoon Pixelmurg as well. Yeah, things are well, they're doing well enough anyway. But yes, let's have a look through these patch notes. And obviously, we live stream these. It's not really because it's anything new, because it's been out for about, I don't know, been out for about 10 hours. But it's more just as a community, we can go through it, we can look at certain elements, and we can also ask queries and things like that, and just discuss it as we go through. And hopefully this is all coming through loud and clear. Let me know if the jazz needs to be a little bit louder or quieter if need be. Anyway, so obviously summer update, the high roll, which is basically the USS Black and USS Independence. Now it's interesting to note that I think there's potentially some very, I don't know, it seems a little bit odd that the PS5 patch is that much lower than the rest of them. You're looking at 4.6 gig for the Xbox One, 4.5 gig for the Xbox Series S and X, and then you've also got the PS4 at 2.5 gig, and then the PS5 is at 0.75 gig. So I do wonder if there's some other maybe visual changes or something else that is happening behind the scenes. Anyway, patch is dropping on June the 20th between 2 and 5 AM Central Time, United States, and 7 to 10 AM UTC. So that'll be 8 to 11 AM BST if you're in the UK. Yeah, there is a little bit of a summary here. Obviously, the Independence Operations, Lucky 6 campaign, Pan-European Destroyers, Tier 8 preparations, Band Chasers, and stuff. So it's not a massive patch, but it's I'd say it's a little bit on the light side, but there are some significant balance changes, I guess you could say. And now, as always, down in the description is the redeem code, which is within the patch notes. Also is the link to the Redeemer, so you can redeem it now, and also down there will be the link to the patch notes if you want to read along at the same time. Major, for someone who recently got the Abruzzi, what do you think about the sap and the reload changes? We're jumping right to the end there. I think I want to see how sap performs before really giving it an opinion, because sap does seem quite interesting. Maybe it should be quite reasonable, but yeah, that reload time is a little bit cruel potentially. Big killer. They also said concealment modules are coming for tier 6 and legendary boats. Yeah, that's confirmed this patch, which is nice, really. They've kind of done all the testing, I guess you could say, with some of the ships, and now they're just introducing it as a general thing. Yeah, battleships, yeah. Right. So, let's continue. And as I've said, everything else is down in the description if you so need. Independence Day 2022. So obviously there's some related festive events happening within the game. First of all, obviously there's a free mission to get the tier 3 premium battleship South Carolina as a reward, and it was quite interesting. I think Criv did some digging around for me, which is much obliged, where in regards to tier 3 battleships, every single tier 3 battleship has 4 module slots. So they basically have like a bonus module slots in order to obviously make them a bit more intriguing, I guess you could say. The only one that doesn't have it is the Albert Koenig, or Koenig Albert, which has obviously gone for a minimum of 10,000 doubloons. So, ironically, the ship that's probably cost the most has the least module diversity, which I found quite a little, rather amusing, I guess you say. Right, Windrows bonuses are happening from tier 4 to legendary tier for US ships, active from July the 4th through to July the 25th. And basically, for the first win in any United States ship between tier 4 and legendary, you will get a one-time redeemable reward. So for tier 4 to tier 6 tech tree ships, you're looking at red, white, blue camo. For tier 7 tech tree ships, you're looking at a summer big crate. For premium tier 4 and 5 ships, it's 2 red, white, blue camos. And probably the most intriguing ones here are the premium ships at tier 6 getting 2 promotional orders, and premium ships at tier 7 getting 3 promotional orders. I think that's probably what most people are going to be interested in. And then also we have 2 summer big crates if for your first win in a legendary tier ship. There's also going to be the Liberty Package Platform Bundle, which will be available within the platform store, probably for those who have an Xbox Plus Xbox Live subscription or PlayStation Plus subscription. What that will contain will obviously be forthcoming in the future. Store discounts on XXL bundles. Now, the XXL bundles are those rather lackluster bundles where you usually get the ship, a flag, and a load of guff, is the best way to put it. Usually it's some camos and some booster flags and stuff like that. Nothing really that exciting. So generally, the only things that are worthwhile in those bundles usually are the cosmetic flag and the premium ship. And so basically, a total of 12 ships over the next 3 weeks. Over 3 weeks. Doesn't say which 3 weeks. I think I guess it'd be the 3 weeks running from July the 4th through to July the 25th. Basically, there will be ships available with these deals. Nothing super exciting, I guess you could say. I wonder if that's all going to be American. It'd probably be all American premium ships, in all honesty. Special Broad Stripes and Bright Stars Bureau project with Star Spangled Freedom skins for the Tier 7 Baltimore and the Cleveland as the ultimate reward. Basically, does go into more detail later on. More awards will await you along the way, including Stars and Stripes permanent camouflages for a set of tech tree ships. That'd be probably the same as the ones from the California Bureau project. The themed port looks like we're going to be going back to the Philippines, or as I call it, Vanilla Manila, because it's basically the generic port of the game. We had it, basically it was the first port in the game, and we probably had it the longest out of any port in the game. So moving on to the campaign, obviously we have this typical 100 milestones over 5 weeks. The interesting one here is obviously we have that element of choice, I guess you could say, where there will be 2 ships at the end, however you have to pick which one you want. This time the choice is between the United States Navy Tier 7 Premium Destroyer USS Black, which is the Fletcher class with radar, or there's the Tier 5 Premium Aircraft Carrier USS Independence, which I believe is unique to World of Warships Legends. However, I suspect the model is probably identical to the Saipan, as in like what she looks like. However, her traits and abilities and aircraft does seem like it might be completely unique to Legends. So, could be interesting. Be interesting, yeah, to see how she plays and stuff. So they go on to talk about the ships a bit later on, but basically the second ship has to be acquired for doubloons, and then there's also going to be a weekly set of hard mode missions. Now, I don't think there's going to be catch-up mechanic on this one. At least it doesn't say there's a catch-up mechanic, I guess you could say. At least I haven't spotted it yet. The USS Black represents obviously American class Fletcher class destroyer with basic radar, probably good gun capabilities, but potentially some sacrifices towards torpedo abilities. But it's going to be interesting to see what those torpedo abilities are. She does look to have a large HP pool, and also a good AA suite as well, but typical American gun ballistics. And then USS Independence is basically a Cleveland class cruiser conversion into, well, not conversion, but a Cleveland class hull used to build an escort carrier, I guess you could say. Now with this one, it looks like it's again all about the aircraft, very much like the Saipan, with very fast restoring aircraft potentially, but obviously she lacks a lot of AA defense of her own. Well, I'll quickly get to this and then I'll catch you with the chat and see what I'm to. Virtually SAP reload will be 10.5 seconds. I know that sounds really quite painful for a cruiser. Running Chang, how does one properly play against SAP bow tanking? Well, SAP's basically very short fuse APs. I mean, even if you bow tank a SAP cruiser, they're just going to keep going for the superstructures. Bow tanking might improve your survivability, I guess you could say, but again, they're just going to go for the superstructure if they can. And generally, if you go broadside to SAP, usually they switch to normal AP, because obviously that's going to go for the Citadel, where SAP's just going to end up harvesting your more lightly armoured section, so it won't do as much damage, potentially, especially with that reload speed, affecting the kind of like the alpha. Well, the alpha of the standard AP would be higher, but because of the reload, it means that having the SAP or SAP probably won't be as good. First of all, honestly, I believe USS Independence will be something truly special at Tier 5 to have people choose it over Black. That's very true, yeah, because this is the thing, you're being told, basically given the choice between the Tier 5 Premium and the Tier 7 Premium. The Tier 7 Premium does look to be quite strong. I mean, if you just take it as, if you just said it's a Fletcher of radar, that's quite strong. Whereas like USS Independence is a little bit of an unknown, and obviously aircraft carriers aren't for everyone, is the best way to put it. Angling, and you can learn how much millimeter the SAP pen for every Italian ship. DDs cannot do anything. It's like instant death for destroyers. Oh, that does sound painful. Also, SAP penetration is like high explosive, not losing anything over distance. Fair enough. Good evening, dude. But no fires from semi-R piercing, the script says. And evening, Jeff, Dave. Hello. So we're cracking on to the breakdown of the campaign awards. Now, what you're getting without Amity backing is pretty poor. 1 universal accommodation, 1 insignia, 14 promotional orders are probably what most people are going to be interested in, which is this stuff here. You don't get any doubloons. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That is really rough. Like 40 common boosters. 12, 24, 36 camouflages. That's pretty poor. This hurts. Anyway, so the total value of all this is apparently 15,585 doubloons. But that is a pretty weak performance, I guess you could say. Now, with anti-backing 2,500 doubloons, for which you'll probably get 750 doubloons back. Again, the amount of doubloons that you get in campaigns is drastically reduced. Now, the reason why was because their justification is that obviously you get doubloons through, or basically they wanted to spread the doubloons out to mean you were receiving doubloons from ranked and arena. So obviously it kind of made you obviously do the campaign, do ranked and arena. However, there's no ranked and there's no arena this patch. So what they've done, if you think about it, in this patch in particular, is they've reduced the amount of doubloons that you get through the campaign and giving you nothing else. Really, they probably should have increased the doubloon give back a bit more in a patch where there is no arena and there is no ranked. I kind of feel, honestly. Accommodation's only 3, insignia's only 3, so it kind of feels like the number of insignias has dropped as well. We're down to like 4 insignias, well I'm sure like a couple of patches back we were like getting like 6 and 7 insignias potentially. Accommodations looks a little bit on the low side. Generally things just look a bit on the low side. It doesn't, honestly, the rewards this patch do not look that impressive. They do not look that worthwhile. So amateur backing is really just going to be down to, I think, more this patch than any other patch. Amateur backing is probably going to be more about, do you actually want black or independent? Because usually, sometimes with campaigns, the rewards you get along the way are more useful or more desirable than the end reward. Sometimes people will go, I don't really care too much about the ship, but you know, all those extra promotional orders, commendations, universal commendations, insignias, and whatever it be, along the way is worthwhile. You know, this one, personally, I kind of feel like the journey isn't worth, what you get along the journey is just not worth it, and so it really is just down to the end ship and if you actually get there. So potentially this might be the patch where you don't purchase amateur backing until you maybe complete the campaign and then just get it all at the end if you so desire the ship. Obviously, as the element of choice campaign, you can obviously have both ships if you so wish, and you can come back to it. So say you finish the campaign early and you decide, oh actually I do want to have both, you can do it. You just have to go along to that milestone on the campaign and then do some clickety clicks and you should be alright. So if you do decide that you want to purchase both, so obviously it'd be 2,500 doubloons for the amateur backing, pick one ship, and then you could purchase the second ship for 10,000 doubloons. Well, fingers crossed the CCs do get to review Black and Independence, and it will be interesting to see how clear cut which one is the clear winner, I guess you could say. Regarding rewards with amateur backing, it goes up to 67,690, and as always I do like to do my go compare, but we're just quickly checking with the chat. Doug, no Brit love reminds me of no Brit cruiser at launch. It's clear that the Eurosphere, Russia still considered Britain enemy, and I'm Florida man, I see it objectively. When there is no arena ranks, the catch-up mechanics are turned off for the campaign missions. Now, they at least give us more doubloons, that kind of feel. Yeah, just be careful, chaps, of the chat. I do prefer to keep the chat where no swearing, no politics, no religion, if you can. Right, Chang, I just made a permanent French camo for my Jervis, specifically for when I'm stream sniping British CECs. Am I a bad person? Nah. In fact, I would have gone for a German camouflage. Right. Yes, the usual go compare. So yeah, usual typical go compare, where obviously you can see the amount of rewards that you get without anti-backing, the amount of awards that you get with anti-backing, the total doubloon difference between with and without, and also the percentage differences there. Now, I did quite an amusing one. It looks like Independence Day patches seems to fall in every single June patch. And if you just look at June patches in isolation, you can see that the amount of doubloon, the doubloon value of the campaign rewards has reduced significantly over time. So June 2020 it was 19,000, June 2021 it drops to 16,700, and June 2022 it's dropped to 15,500. So although there doesn't seem to be a correlation, I did do a graph for my moderators looking at it. Although there doesn't seem to be a general correlation that things are getting less, it does. If you take it and just looking at the months in particular, it does look like it is slowly decreasing. Anyway, so then obviously, like we said, without you're getting 15,585, with you're getting 67,698, well, 90 I should say. Difference is 52,105, percentage difference is 23%. So you can say the amount that you're getting without is, I don't have the averages, bear with, I think it's because, there we go. There you can see the differences. So you can see that without anti-backing, it's below average. With anti-backing, it's actually still below average. The difference is above average. And yeah, so the split's a bit cruel. And also, the overall campaign is a little bit lackluster, I guess you could say. No, Randy, I got the revolution on mine as well. Since I ran out of Union Jack after playing a few games in it, I think it suits the Jervis much more nicely. Evening, Vaz. Evening. So yeah, so that's the Go compare. Obviously, it's always, if anyone ever needs it, feel free to ask. I'm quite happy to send it over. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the campaign and everything. Evening Eternal, evening. But yeah, generally this campaign, in regards to rewards, does feel a bit lackluster. Anyway, there will be obviously a further breakdown of the campaign missions forthcoming on Monday, the 20th of June. So, Special Bureau Project. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Yeah, Special Bureau Project. What are you looking at? So they've got these broad stripes and bright stars, time limited, obviously. So we'll come back and look into that. Camouflages for the Tier 7 cruisers, Baltimore and Cleveland. That one's Cleveland. That one's Baltimore, I think. But yeah, they look very, very similar, which is understandable. Now, basically, these are the final prizes of the Bureau project, and obviously, it's running until July the 25th only. Okay, so this again feels a little bit underhanded, maybe. Basically, you're not going to be getting these camos for free. It's impossible. In fact, they've actually engineered it that way. Basically, in order to make the Bureau project move along quickly, you have to obviously have the South Carolina. South Carolina is available for a free mission, so you could get South Carolina very quickly if you complete the free mission. However, if you have just the South Carolina, it then says here, and you have all the proper commanders and everything, and researchable ships, you'll get all the segments but the very last one. So you're still going to have to boost the last segment, which would be probably 5 stages, in order to get this ship. Furthermore, obviously, you could have USS Black and USS Independence, or I guess you could say, in order to significantly speed up progress. However, you're going to have to use doubloons in order to boost the campaign to get these ships quicker. So regardless, it's, as I'm just seeing Kriv post there, Bureau Project is a whale project. And yeah, it's just an absolute whale. I kind of feel bad for any Americans who really want these, because this patch just feels like it's it's going to be a money sap or a wallet drain. Right, saying, ooh, dirty, tricky Ouija. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Oh, Doug, they still... let's see. The yearly US cruiser camera, yeah. Special Bureau project, pay to finish Bureau project. Yep, that's it. Faz, why not just chuck these camos in the store like all the rest? Why try to master monetization? Good point. Good point. Why not just come up straight away? Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're just expensive camos. If they chuck them in the store, they could earn so much money due to July the 4th. Yeah, exactly. Americans get special money drain treatment, yeah. It does feel like that, I've got to be honest. It does feel like they kind of like have gone, oh, we've just moved country and we could seriously do with some financial income. Looked at the calendar and went, ooh, we could extortion at that. Sean, I would just pick the black for the campaign. It would be cheaper than to buy the tier 5 carrier instead of the other way around. And this is the other one. Remember the Element of Choice campaign. Both of those ships have returned at one point or another in full global XP. The Lo Yang for 750 global XP for a limited time only, and the Friesland permanently for 750,000 global XP. So potentially, you never know. Even if you purchase one or the other, it might just come around again anyway. You're probably better off getting the black out of the campaign, because if black comes back again, she's going to be more expensive than the Independence. If Independence comes around again, I suspect Independence will become like a reoccurring Independence Day premium ship, very much the same way that HMS Belfast is a reoccurring St. Patrick's Day ship. But yeah, like it's a pay to complete bureau project for some camouflages. Yeah, really. Alright, pan-European destroyers are now here, fully researchable, which yeah, it should be alright. I never really got past the tier 5, and I don't think I even reviewed. Did I review any of them? I reviewed the Oland, didn't I? But yeah, I've just been a little bit busy. Anyway, the good news is, honestly, there is... I'm going to apologise for anyone who can pronounce this, but there is a new pan-European commander, battleship commander, coming to the game. Still, I've got to build myself up for this one. I want to say Yanko. Yukovic? I'll let Kriv rank me out of 10 on that one. Yanko Yukovic? Or Vukovic? Anyway, so yeah, so there is a new pan-European commander for a pan-European battleship. Obviously, we'll talk about that when we get down there. Looking forward to the Scotland. Yeah, no, she should be quite interesting. The thing is, I haven't even tried out the Sakane because I didn't even get it from early access. So I'm going to have to, obviously, give the Sakane a spin and see how she is. And then also, fingers crossed, grind up to the Scotland as well. And, yeah, pan-European commanders in their own special crates. More information on the branch. Oh yeah, there is the pan-European branch. 8 out of 10 from Kriv. I'll take that. That's probably better than my Italian. I'm gonna confess. So I'm almost maxed out tier 6 destroyer, so soon boost the tier 7. Can you not boost it already? I remember you used to be able to grind a tier 6 early access ship all the way to the end, and then actually boost through the tier 7 preemptively. I have the feeling black may be OP and attain Jean Bar, Yudachi, Okachov status and never come back. That's the reason to choose it. That's a good point. That's a good point, Vaz. 80% at least will go for USS Black, new tier 7 DD meta, Summers, Black, Yudachi. Very true, very true. I'll get you there. Hello, Stumpy. Hello, hello, hello. Fought for Gamer. Sean, I would just pick the black for the campaign. It would be cheaper to buy the... Yeah, I think I covered that one. I think I'm up to date. Yeah, but I haven't maxed it yet. Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. Tier 8 preparations. And I wonder if this image will work. The only Tier 8 here is just tucked in here. And it's, well, it's the Rune. That's the only one we've got Tier 7 Tier 8 cruiser ending in ON. And it's underneath the Bismarck. That's the only one. Every other ship here is already in the game, so there's no real secrets apart from that one there. Now there is the legendary trailer. Maybe we might go through it, but I think someone's already gone through it step by step, and most of the information I'll be taking will probably be from them anyway. So yeah, they're doing some changes to Tier 7 and Tier 6 as well in preparation for Tier 8. I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, I can say it. Okay, that's all right. Sorry, this is the thing. I always got to try and recall what I can and can't say. So yeah, Tier 8 ships are coming in the future, which is basically going to slip in between Tier 7 and Legendary Tier, with the existing Tier 7 Legendary Tier ships staying where they are. The only ship that's moving tier is the Weimar, so that's basically the only one for now. So there doesn't look like there's going to be any Tier 7s moving up to Tier 8 at this moment in time, and I don't think there's any intention to do that as yet anyway. Now, I'm just going to quick look. I think one of the big things is basically the first batch of Tier 8 ships will be coming next patch, and there's going to be 4 nations. Now, I think there's 5 nations teased within the Legendary Tier trailer or teaser. I'm just going to have a quick look into my Discord and see what did we get spotted. Moderate. I think I found it. So the ships that have been seen in the Tier 7 teaser, there's a Russian destroyer, Buffalo and Summer, both being American cruiser and destroyer, Kitakaze, Ibuki and Izumo, which is all Japanese. Looks like also Rune, Frederick de Grosser as well look to be within there, so that's the Germans. Also the Alaska, the St. Louis and the Mogador, which is all French. Also the Rune again, and then there's Summer, Buffalo and Minnesota. So there's American, French, Japanese, German and Russian. So out of those 5 teased nations, I suspect it will be American, Japanese, French and German coming first, with potentially whatever that Russian destroyer is being maybe a campaign reward. Potentially, because it's the only Russian ship teased. Anyway, I will close Discord down just in case. I'll catch up with the chat shortly. So yeah, continuing on, they're basically making some economical changes. The reason being is what they want to do is kind of make Tier 8 the new Tier 7 uneconomical progress tier, I guess you could say. So they're going to make Tier 7 a credit earning potential tier. So what they're doing is they're reducing the ship service cost of Tier 6 ships by about 10,000 credits. They're reducing the ship service cost for Tier 7 ships by about 15,000 credits. They're also reducing the cost of Tier 7 premium ships by about 40,000 credits. But also on top of that, they're going to increase the credit earning capability of Tier 7 premium ships by 40%. So at the moment, Tier 7 premium ships have the same service cost but a slightly increased credit earning potential. That credit earning potential is basically going to skyrocket, and that ship service cost is also going to decrease. So that means that tier 7 and tier 6 premium ships are going to be basically your credit earning potential, and also tier 7 and tier 6 will be, they say, the money makers. I suspect if you're running tech tree ships, tier 5 and tier 6 will probably still be the credit earning potential tiers, with premiums being tier 5 and tier 7, no, tier 6 and tier 7. So that seems to be what they're going to go for there. Now, they obviously don't want to make any fluctuations to the costs and rewards for legendary tier, but however, that might be subject to change. And I suspect that tier 7 will probably be very similar to tier 8 in regard. Well, tier 8 in future will be very similar to what used to be tier 7 in regards to credit earning potential and ship service costs. So the kind of potential that you can get out of those. And what I'll do, I'll catch up with the chat before I move on to the new ships this update. Okay, it has actually gone a bit fast. Is the tier 7 pan-European ship's name translation called How Far to Ireland? Ostergotland. Oh. What choice? Getting both? So I guess the name it was is going to be getting both ships. Jeff Dave, interesting to see Austro-Hungarian BB. Yes, no, probably the only one. Admiral Kriv, yes, you can boost any of the ships if it's in the tech tree. It doesn't matter if it's locked or early access. That's good to hear. Doug, my grandmother in Wehrmacht first lieutenant secretary to Rommel, then after he was forced to move on, let's just say, became secretary to a gallant head of Rayman Intelligence. My grand uncle was general in the 4th, well, you mean 3rd Reich Intelligence. But be careful with that one. Admiral Kriv, Jeff, they introduced Verbias Unitas as the first Yugoslavian BB on PC. They messed it up a bit. That was way after World War I. It's towards the end of World War I. But yeah, it's kind of like the closing days, or very shortly after. Yeah. Anyways, tunnel. It's gonna make the Lenin and Bar top dogs again without Yamatos. That's true, potentially, but let's see what they introduce at tier 8. Hello, Jenny Zimmer. Hello. I'm Kriv. I know that they say tier 7 ships will stay as it is, but I can imagine they will put Georgia and Jean Bar up to tier 8 due to their being tier 9 on PC. Be interested to see what they do. Mechaman, hello. I have a feeling that those special bureau skins may come back, like the Back to the North Cape skins that are available for steel. That's a good point. I could see that. I could see them coming back for steel. That's true. Because at the moment, there's absolutely nothing for steel, in all honest opinion, I kind of feel. Jeff Dave, well, I suppose it was renamed Yugoslavia. I'm probably butchered that one terribly. It sounds like tier 7 will be much better resource growing than tier 6 premium. Potentially. It all maybe depends on how you kind of feel. Sean, Vanguard getting an ultra buff and going to tier 8. It will have torpedoes and angry Brit shouting from the crow's nest. Oh yeah, Jeff Dave, we will get to the Zoomer in time. Stumpy, Stumpy is reminding me that I should be a YouTuber and do some YouTube shilling. So if you're enjoying the stream, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and obviously helps with promoting the live stream and things like that. Doug, yeah, they just bumped up a tier, so it's tier 6 and tier 7 moneymakers, yeah. Does anyone have a pick of the special Ostergotland camo? Not that I know of, but if anyone's got a link and they can put it in the chat, I will bring it up. Zoomer and anyone else like... Oh, okay. Doug's referring to the current government of Germany. Okay, we can now move on to the rest of the ships of the update. So obviously there's the South Carolina, which is going to be available as part of a free mission. So obviously she's got 8 12-inch guns, she's slow, I don't really know how steady describes anything. She's slow. She's just not going anywhere. She's basically afloat. She's an island, basically. They talk about perhaps, so probably not then. She's obtainable with her dedicated flag for a free mission that is available for completion from June the 24th through to July 25th. Pick up and store between June 24th and July the 18th. Make sure to read more about her and her American peers, Black and Independence, in the future forthcoming through the Spyglass thing. Now, if I go over to... I've got to get the right thing here. This tab? There we go. So let's have a look at South Carolina over on PC. Now over on PC, she is a tier 3 tech tree ship, but she's made into a tier 3 premium ship, so she's actually been bumped up a tier and made a premium. Now this is potentially interesting because obviously that does raise questions as to what will they do with Dreadnought, I guess you could say. Anyway, so obviously some of these pros and cons for this ship may not be entirely correct for World Warships Legends, but at least we can dive in and have a look at what we got. So over on PC, she does appear to have a decent turret traverse speed. We'll see. Good accuracy on the main battery. You'd hope so with that low gun count, with only 8 guns. She's obviously got super firing turrets. She has a very small turning radius and quick rotor shift potentially. However, over on PC, she's only got a top speed of 18 knots, which sounds painful. Also, terrible concealment, useless anti-aircraft capability, and a very low HP pool. So it'd be interesting to see how this translates over to World Warships Legends, because obviously she's being made a tier higher and being made into a premium ship, so it's going to be interesting to see what the trade-offs are with the Oklahoma. Now, again, I'm going to apologise if I mess this up, but Verbias Unitas, which is the pan-European battleship, obviously starts life in the Austro-Hungarian Navy, later moves on to the Yugoslavian, Croatian, Serbian Navy, as the Austro-Hungarians trying to dodge a bullet by, rather than having their vessels in turn to the eyes, they palmed them off to a this may not be completely correct, but it's just whatever, like kind of like a new state which had declared neutrality in the First World War. However, yeah, no one was buying it, unfortunately, and so the Italians still went ahead and sunk the Verbias Unitas. So while she was under the Yugoslavian, Serbian, Croatian Navy, her commander was Janko Vukovic, and so he also served in the Austro-Hungarian Navy as well. Potentially an Austro-Hungarian commander, but also a Croatian commander at the same time. It all kind of depends on what point of his career. But obviously he did serve on the Verbias Unitas, which was renamed the Yugoslav when she was sunk. Yes, Jeff just picked up interestingly, he died on the ship, yes. But yeah, so she's going to be available for doubloons, it seems, and obviously the new commander will be available in the commander store, but also through commander crates. And obviously if you have all the commanders, then any commander crate will deliver him, and any pan-European commander crates will also deliver him. And yeah, there's the it's kind of the breakdown there. I might have gotten the history wrong. Do not persecute me too badly, please, chaps. No pick of Oster Scotland camo yet. Also, if anyone's missed out on the forest mission, the camo will go into the store. Well, at least concealment mods come into all ships now on tier 6 and above. Yeah, all battleships. Actually, I guess it is all ships now. If you add it to all the battleships, then it's basically available for all the cruisers and all the destroyers and all the battleships. Just buy it. Ray Chang, South Carolina looks a little squat, rather squat. Yes, she does. I think that's just to obviously improve her turning circle mostly. make us. That's the thing with battleships. They make them kind of squat and broad. It's just to make them quite a stable gun platform, basically. Sean, the only counter for the Vanguard buff is to mount that one French fort from Monty Python on the aft end of the Richelieu. I wonder if Missouri will get her credit boost like on PC. I don't think there's any plans for it, IGN and Zuma. I know what you mean. There's been all sorts of controversy regarding Missouri over on PC as well, regarding that credit and capability of her. Zuma, no extra credit from we're getting converted already. Yeah, we go, yeah. 20 victories on the ship, and I don't want to play it dauntingly. Oh, there's the wife. Good evening. Good evening. Major is struggling with the name of Verbias. Just say with United Forces. No, we're gonna keep butchering it. It's a trend we started in this channel. It's the trend I hope to see through to the end. It should be this catchphrase back to the port, pronouncing things badly forever. Hoping that Vukachev is a dispersion commander. Fair point, fair point. $30 million to mod. Is it apply all the mods to a tier 6 BB? Oh, fair enough. I asked Blip about Verbias. He couldn't answer me that which the flag the ship will get: Hungarian, Croatian, or Serbian. Also, no answer about the voiceover language for Yanko. About Yanko, yeah. Fabulous. Do the tiers generally correspond with time periods, naval treaties, or is it kind of all over the place? It's kind of all over the place. Let's be honest. Because let's see. Let's just take the tech tree. No, well, let's just look at the Royal Navy ships at tier 6. You've got a 1920s battlecruiser in the form of Hood. You've got a late 20s, early 30s battleship in the form of Nelson. You've then got a 1940s battleship in the form of King George V. Then you've also got a late 30s heavy cruiser design in the form of the Surrey. You've then got a light cruiser design from the kind of very late 30s, 40s for the Fiji, the Crown Colony class. You've then got a pre-war destroyer in the form of the Jervis. But then also you've got the tribals as well. It's kind of all over the shop. And it really just depends. Sometimes you can end up with ships, or especially at the lower tiers, it can be really all over the place. Especially like tier 2, you can have ships from pre-dreadnought all the way up to some of the very modern support cruisers. I think a good one to compare would be Oleg, which is a pre-dreadnought armoured cruiser, and on the other hand you've got the Katori, which is a Japanese support ship, which is represented as a cruiser. Amusingly, Katori was actually sunk by USS Iowa. So you got a ship that participated in a pre-dreadnought battle, and another ship which was obliterated by a brand new, super modern, fast battleship from the United States, both at tier 2. So yeah, it kind of is all over the shop. Anyway, a sip of water, and then we move on to balance changes. But tier 7 Kansas World War I design. Very true, very true. It's going to be amusing because you might end up with like HMS Incomparable being like a very high tier British premium ship, when she would have been like the same age as Hood, I guess you could say. Will it mean there will be premium tier 8s when the tier 8 comes to ships, and will I have to sell my child to buy one? Yes and yes. Balance changes. Okay, so obviously the concealment module available for battleships from tier 6 to legendary tier, which is probably quite an interesting one. I think about time too, I guess you say. USS Kidd is going to begin the AA fire, defensive AA fire consumable in the 4th module slot. I think that's the one with engine boost. So now you can choose between having engine boost or defensive AA fire consumable, which I think is okay. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess you could say. Nagato amusingly is getting a buff. Now, a long time ago, she got a nerf to her AP damage because she was outperforming. And amusingly, I kind of feel like we've now gone back. We've kind of now got Nagato back with her AP. She's had a recent accuracy buff, I believe, and now she's also got a reload buff where the main battery reload time is being reduced by 3 seconds. So looks like there's some slight improvements to Nagato. Maybe she might be returning to maybe a prime position that she was before. The Azuma is getting a absolute multitude of buffs. There's also a single nerf being slipped in there as well. The main battery reload speed is being decreased by 2,000. The maximum HE shell damage is being increased by 600. The AP shell damage is being improved by 500. The AP penetration has been increased by 16.5%. However, the AP ricochet angle has been decreased from 50 to 45. That basically means the angle at which it starts to auto ricochet, so she hasn't got such wide angles on her armor piercing shells. The turret traverse speed has been reduced by 4 seconds, and the shell grouping has been improved by 7.5%, and with a slight reduction of dispersion. However, shell grouping, dispersion, and things like that are always a bit like, we don't really have any numbers in regards to these kind of traits, so it's kind of like, it's a percentage of change, but we can't really put any numbers behind it, unfortunately. Let's see. But this does guarantee legendary tier carriers now. Yes, I think by introducing tier 8, you now have a higher justification for legendary tier carriers. It also means that potentially for a little while, with the introduction of tier 8, there may be no carriers at legendary tier, which could be quite interesting. Also, legendary tier is the carrier free safe space until they start to drop. Yeah, no, I just picked it up just before I read that. Sorry. Also, don't forget that tier 8 they made space for submarines on PC tier 6, 8, and 10. Here they could do 5, 7 legendary. Oh, let's not talk about subs. I don't want to talk about subs. Sure, Azuma will still be poor, I think. I don't know. This is the thing. I like Azuma. I can do quite well in Azuma, and potentially this just means that she's going to be a bit more nicer, potentially, because it kind of was like her. The lacking things of the Azuma has always kind of felt to be the main battery and the lack of torpedoes. Well, we can't do anything with the lack of torpedoes, but they've certainly done a lot of stuff with the main battery, and this does look to be quite interesting. For the Italian ships, obviously most of these are coming from the buff or the balance changes kind of patch that we did have a little while ago. Crib apologise. Yeah, I'll have to add that to the list of things not allowed to talk about. Subs. Yeah, so Roma is getting improved HE damage. She's also having an exhaust smoke generator added to the 3rd slot. Also having her main battery, the damage control party consumable duration increased by 5 seconds. An additional repair party being added as standard. And the catapult fighter, spotter, and enhanced targeting consumables were moved from the 3rd slot to the 4th slot. If you already have Roma, the slot will be reset to the default choice of catapult fighter when the update hits. Okay, fair enough. Now there's also been a bit of a reload buff for the tier 4, 5 and 7 battleships of the Italian tech tree. Main battery reload time has been reduced by 3 seconds for all of them. SAP shells. So this is some testing of SAP. Basically, there's going to be an optional module on the following Italian premium cruisers: the Genova, the Duca d'Aosta, the Abruzzi, and the Gorzia. Now this module will basically swap the high explosive shells with semi-armor piercing shells, and also for the Abruzzi increase the reload time of the main battery from 7.5 seconds to 10 seconds. This upgrade is free, yay! For free you can reduce your rate of fire, which is quite amusing. We would basically they'd like people to test it. This is going to be the testing of SAP for the Italian cruisers. If the testing is successful, potentially you might see it roll out or be changed in the future. It was always the reload that held it back quite a bit. Yeah, on the Izuma. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so the semi-armor piercing is basically very similar to like the light AP of the British light cruisers, or except it's still short fuse. I think what might do. Let me get this right. Semi-armor piercing shells combine the features of both AP and HE shells. The nose of the casing is thickened to form a penetrator cap of a sort, with less high explosive than HE, but more than AP shells can pack in. SAP is fused with a short delay like AP. Like HE shells, SAP armor penetration is not a function of shell velocity or angle of incidence. So basically, it doesn't really matter if the ship's angled or not, it still hits and penetrates. Penetration depends on the caliber of the shell and the nominal thickness of the armor. The shell penetrates and deals damage. So basically, it's almost like with an armor piercing shell, you can angle against it, and when it hits, it takes into account that angle before checking if it could punch through the armor. So if it checks the angle, if the angle's too acute, it bounces off. With semi-armor piercing, it doesn't do that. It just goes up and goes, could I punch through this armor? And then it decides if it's going to go through. The shell penetrates and deals damage if the penetration value is higher or equal to the thickness of the armor. The value of each caliber appears in the chart below, and won't go for that chart. SAP shells often have a higher maximum damage than the gun's AP, can ricochet but have very favourable ricochet angles, even better than those of American and British AP. Can overmatch, like AP shells, basically can actually go, basically overmatch armour. Can penetrate thicker armour and cause greater damage than high explosive shells, basically using the same way you use high explosive. Cannot penetrate multiple layers of armour. Do not over-penetrate, okay? Do not generate a blast capable of damaging modules. Do not start fires. Have a very special damage limit for large caliber against destroyers. Are not affected by IFHG. Glow red in flight. We'll see what colour they glow in this. And there is some kind of like AP versus SAP characteristics. But I don't think it's worth going through. SAP ricochet chance at impact angle. And looking at the ricochet angle, we'll just assume it's like kind of average, but basically the shells will not ricochet up to 69 degrees from the surface. At 70 degrees, you go up to about a 10% ricochet chance. At 70, going up to say 70 degrees, it's about 10%. 71 degrees is about 20%. 72 degrees, we go up to about 30%. 73 degrees, go up to about 37%. 74 degrees, up to 45%. 75 degrees, up to about 55%. 76 degrees, up to a 63% chance. Basically, the point where we start to get to a guaranteed ricochet angle is about 80 degrees. So between like 70 and 80 degrees, the chance of ricocheting goes up from 0 to 100. So it's not too bad, yeah. So if a ship's angled at like 70 degrees, you can still punch that semi-armor piercing shells in. All this information is available on the World of Warships wiki page if you wish to look into it yourself. I think Cribs just shared some useful information. Let's have a look. I can't do anything with that. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully I'm still connected. That's the jazz. Where's the chat? There's the chat. Okay, Major, what's the ship model behind, sir? If you don't mind the question, HMS Hood. Well, we can always have a look at her shortly. Physics is fun, yeah. Will be red due to Italian BB secondaries already red? That's a good point, that's a good point. Rain Chang, Geyser's tracer colours overwrite this? Don't know. Potentially. That's a good question. That's a good question. Actually, I guess what will happen is so maybe with Legends, I think the way we do it is like if it's an AP shell, it's kind of like a white shell, but there's like the tracer is what the guise changes, but the shell will change. So I think what you'll see is like with AP is a white shell, with high explosive it's a yellow shell, and with SAP it's a red shell, and then the tracers would just be whatever pretty colour then follows. I'm gonna put the Russian commander as an inspiration on your Italian premium cruise. But the premium one that affects no, not the premium one. Von Essen affects a ricochet angle. That could be quite a good one. I don't know how much more he gives you in regards to angle of deflection. I know we're going off on a tangent, chaps. I do apologise, but I do. That is a good point. What does Von Essen give you? Where is he? There's Nikolai Von Essen. He only gives you 4 degrees. It's not a lot, but it might help, maybe. I guess you could say. Right, back to doing what we were supposed to be doing. Bug fixes. So, fixing camo colours, additional camo elements regarding ships, decks and things like that. Smoke screens now correctly stay visible on the tactical map when they're deployed. So that's the big overall map. That's one thing I noticed recently when you hit the big overall map. Not every single smoke screen would appear, which was a little bit annoying. Completed missions and tasks, nothing much really there. Others, visual improvements for water and weather for a grand total of 20 maps. I think that's the majority of the patch, because it's worth noting with the PS5, that's the patch for the PS5 is only 750 megabytes compared to the 2.5 and 2.6 gig for the PS4 and the Xbox. So I suspect some of those big changes is going to be this for those other consoles. Mineral spawns on shards were moved a bit away from the center. Okay, all tech tree nations are available except aircraft carriers for mobile. Additionally, they've set missions to speed up progress as well, obviously just to get people up to speed, and now receive notifications much like on the console version. Keep an eye out for those. That's everything. The only things I haven't covered would be the pros and cons of the Verbias Unitas. So what I do, I quickly scroll up, I'll put her, there she is on the screen, I'll quickly go through the pros and cons. Over on PC, her pros and cons are that she has a heavy broadside of 12 guns, she is very accurate for her tier, she has good armour compared to other World War I era dreadnoughts, she's got a good rudder shift and tight turning radius, heavy secondary armament as well, and you can kind of see that actually. She's got quite a few 6-inch secondaries down here. I suspect 6-inch or similar caliber. And looks like they can do good damage and have reasonable fire chance as well. And also the ship appears to have excellent concealment. Downsides are that the main battery firing angles potentially might mean she might stand a bit broad when she brings all guns to bear. She looks like she has a short main battery range for a tier. Secondary armament may have quite short range. Smallest health pool for a tier. Not the fastest either, only doing 20.5 knots over on PC. And she has pretty much poor anti-aircraft capability. And last but not least, I haven't covered the USS Black. Although the USS Black is being massively down-tiered in comparison, so some of the pros and cons of the Black may not be completely accurate, but so over on PC, she's got an extremely fast main battery traverse speed, obviously being American, with a quick main battery reload and a good range on her main battery as well. Torpedoes have a low detectability, good reload speed, and good range and high alpha damage, and obviously she does have access to radar. She has a reasonable anti-aircraft suite, and over on PC she does have access to defensive area fire consumable. I'm not sure if that's something that she has over here on Legends. At least I didn't see it mentioned. They do mention she has a powerful AA suite though, so whether she does have that consumable is yet to be seen. Also, she has a good radius, turning radius and rudder shift. Downsides are obviously the ship modules are fragile, poor shell velocity and high arcs, torpedoes are exceptionally slow, and the ship is slower than the tech tree counterpart. So that's the pros and cons of the black. Right, that is everything. If you've got any questions, or if not, we'll just dally around the office for a little bit if you want. Even better angles for your SAP. Sorry, Stumpy, but they can always redo the commander skills. Series X and PS5 has already some of the new graphics the previous gen don't. Very true. 4 triple 12-inch guns, 12 single 5.9-inch guns, and 12 single 2.6-inch guns. 3 single 66mm AA guns, 4 21-inch torpedoes. I suspect she doesn't actually get. I suspect she doesn't actually get the torpedoes over on there on the World Warships. Much obliged, pick them up. We will not get those torpedoes, of course. Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, let's maximise the webcam. There you go. Yeah, that's Hood, the Kobe model. That's a painting of Exeter. That's a World War II naval poster, but the ship in the poster is incredibly made up. It's almost like someone. It's almost like if King George V and HMS Hood had a love child. It's the best way to put it. Recommend. I actually don't mind the reload speed of the Azuma. It was the turret reverse that made her such a pain to use. Fair enough. Fair enough. Watching Stumpy correct himself there. Quite amusing. But yeah, so overall opinions of this patch. We can turn the jazz up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, be alright. Yeah, so overall this patch, the Independence Day stuff, most of it's something for nothing, so generally I'm not going to complain too much about that. The campaign, the rewards of the campaign are pretty lackluster. The end ships, I kind of feel at the moment it's an obvious choice, but we'll see. The Bureau project, it's pay to have some camouflages. Honestly, I'm not too impressed with that. Pan-European destroyers now being fully researchable, fair enough. Tier 8 preparations with the credit earning changes. It's nice, but I'm surprised they're doing it this early. The premium ships, the South Carolina is not going to be for me. I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not going to like that one at all. The Verbias Unitas, I think I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued with this one. The balance changes. USS Kidd, I'm going to look forward to actually playing that one out and seeing how that plays. Azuma, honestly, I'm going to look forward to that one as well. The SAP, obviously, I'll give it a test. Italian battleships, I'm not too fussed about. And then the other bug fixes and stuff. So there doesn't really seem to be too much going on this patch, at least for me to be interested in. Ostergotland will be better than Friesland. Smoke, sonar, and torpedoes. It'd be interesting to see what she trades in regards to AA capability and main battery capability. Alrighty, I think we're going to call that everything, I guess you could say. We're all up to date, we've gone through it, I've given my opinions. Was it any questions? Shout now. And yeah. Obviously, didn't do Wells Weekly this week. Reason being is obviously we're streaming today, covering this. Cromsif, 55% credits, or mains, That's like putting 777s on a slot machine. Or just wait, Crom, and you can have your Weimar at tier 7, earning even more credits than the mains. I mean, why would you want the mains when you can have the Weimar at tier 7? I do wonder. I guess the only advantage of the mains would be potentially armor scheme. Mega Man, I've been playing through the Cicane today. Guns are nice, torpedoes have really good range, but lack damage outputs. Yeah, they're very similar to the Oland, I guess. Crib, I take out Kid a couple of days ago. 15 battles, no carriers at all. Yeah, I think if you're going to play Kid, you really want to be in a division with a tier 5 carrier to try and guarantee that kind of carrier game. Otherwise, because the carrier population is really low at the moment. Honestly, like, carriers and legendary tier have been two failures for World Warships Legends. Carriers, like, their introduction to the game doesn't seem like, they don't seem to be like the Sky Cancer we got over on PC, but their popularity is not that high either. I don't mind playing them. I know some people just don't. I don't mind playing against them, but I know that some people absolutely despise them. So yeah, but the carrier population is quite low, especially at the moment, and I don't see it peaking again for the foreseeable future. And honestly, I kind of feel that if they want people to play carriers more, they need to start rewarding carriers for doing team support roles, as in spotting and other things like that, rather than damage hunting. Because I find a lot of the times people play carriers wrong because it gets them more points than if they play them right, sometimes, I guess you could say. And then in regards to legendary tier, I think the introduction of tier 8 kind of is an indication that legendary tier is just not working. Like, its position, its relationship to tier 7, the strength of those ships, it's just not working, potentially. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Mega Man, I've been playing, I think I read that one actually. Yeah, I think we'll run it today. Oh, well, ladies and gents, it is 9:45 here in the UK, so I'm going to say have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and a good night wherever you are in the world. We will be streaming tomorrow on Friday, so we'll be the typical Friday night live stream, and we might be streaming over the weekend, but that's yet to be seen. And fingers crossed we can stream on the Monday, covering the first day of the patch, and then so yeah, it might be a little while to get into a review. I will cover the channel news if fingers crossed I'll get Wales Weekly done next week. If I do, then I will cover the channel news. The moderators are already kind of aware what's happening behind the scenes, but I kind of feel like I don't want to keep you guys in the dark for too long. Hello, next Zero Gamer. Hello. We're just signing off here. But yeah, hope you're well. Hope you're well. Carry rewards are poor. Major fully agree. Yeah, no, very true, very true. No worries. All right. Well, look after yourselves, and until next time, I'm the Gallifrey Major. I've got to make sure to click the right tab, and back to the port.